All right. Welcome to Comicbook Wednesdays. We're your hosts. I'm Shane.
I'm Al.
I'm Ian.
If you're here for our wacky random comic shit, please remember to subscribe. Um, this week, if I lost my books, and we are okay. We did Avengers, New Avengers, I should say. 24 Avengers 36 and New Avengers 25 by Jonathan Hickman. Uh, let's just jump right into it.
Yeah, sounds good. I know with the first issue, it was New Avengers 24.
It was, and it
And go ahead, sorry.
bonkers. Sorry. Okay.
Very much bonkers. No, I completely agree with you. I felt like I was missing some things there.
How so?
Okay, so with Namor and Doctor Doom, a little bit of comic knowledge as we've already discussed, but slowly getting there because I'm enjoying reading these with you guys. What kind of history do those two have?
Um, I don't know. I wouldn't say like ton of like close history, but
Mm.
enough where they interacted a couple times. So they both have been villains for the Fantastic Four. They're both world leaders.
Okay. I was curious because, like, watching them sit down and, like, just sharing a meal, talking things out in a very plain way without, like, up until they got to the point where Namor was asking for help, I just found it really interesting in a nice way because there are these two, like, highly intellectual people just being brutally honest with each other, and, like, I just thought that was fascinating.
It was super fascinating. I also really liked how like Doom just isn't taking any of Namor's shit.
Mm-hmm.
Like he's more or less saying like I'm not gonna be your side chick, bitch. Like you should have came to me first. Yeah, because I mean Namor is basically coming to him and groveling like, oh, like I need you to help me because the cabal, or I bit off too much more than I can chew.
The mean guys are very mean, don't know what to
Yeah,
do.
yeah. He's like, these guys are the real deal. Oh man, some of that kind of shit.
Yeah, it was kind of funny because, like, right before then, he was all in.
Oh yeah, he's the one who like basically started the shit, and then like he let them free and did all that kind of shit, and was just like,
He was really only all in until he realized how all it was gonna be.
yeah, exactly. His all in is a different level than their all in, because like they're straight up. They're not just destroying worlds. They're murdering the population of that world.
And enjoying it.
Yes. Yes, and enjoying it is the key words there. Um, and the example they give to us is pretty great of them like decimating the X-Men and making Charles Xavier beg to die. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, I do agree with Doom in that sense because he was very much like, oh, I'm just here to ask for your help because all of this is happening, I don't know what to do. And Doom's response was basically a very eloquent way of saying suck it.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. And his snooty son is like not helping the situation either.
Kristoff.
Yeah. Enjoy your genocide, Namor. Like walks out.
Who, if you happen to know, who's the mother of his son?
I don't
I'm
know.
just curious.
I'm not sure. I've never did enough reading on Kristoff to know, but I'll look it up eventually and let you know. Um, What else happens in that issue? Some Black
Look at my
Panther
notes.
nonsense.
Yeah, that was kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, you got Shuri and T'Challa trying to navigate through the Necropolis. I think that's where they're at that point, because that's where they store the bombs, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Friggin' Maximus going all super evil.
Oh yeah.
See, that's the Maximus that I relate to. I mean, in my mind, seeing him in the comics, that's how I remember him.
Right. He's not a good dude. Yeah, he's not a good guy, and he had Proxima Midnight with him. And like, I really think like Shuri will survive, but they try to make you feel like she's done. You know, like they do the final goodbye. Their missions failed, and then he like transmat teleports to the rest of the Illuminati. I was gonna say that was it for that issue, but it's not. There's like one last huge part to that issue. Anyone remember exactly how that issue ended?
Let me take a look. Let's see. We had that really awkward conversation. Yes, the Molecule Man.
Yes.
Who is Molecule Man?
He's probably one of the most OP characters in Marvel Comics.
It's kind of like God tier.
Yeah, he can control matter to molecular matter, transmute, like change it to anything he wants.
And Doom's just got him in a bunker.
Move it. Yeah, he's gonna use him to take Doom to those who sow Doom.
There's the Doomy arrogance.
So essentially, Doom has figured out not only like what is happening to the multiverse, but he's able to trace it back to its start, which is something the rest of the Fantastic Four, or not Fantastic Four, the Illuminati, haven't been able to do. So Doom's now a big player. So I was kind of waiting for this. Just because of my knowledge of Secret Wars and how everything rolls out, I know like Doom plays a massive role. I think that's it for that issue, really. Any final thoughts on that before we move to the next one?
Not for me. You answered a couple of the questions that I had, so I appreciate that.
What about you, Al? How'd you feel about that one before we go forward?
I thought the ending was pretty cool. You know, seeing Xavier getting his shit pushed in kind of sucked, but yeah, other than that, it was pretty good.
Yeah, I know you love your X-Men.
I do.
Avengers 36. I don't know about you guys, but it feels like a filler issue to me.
Yeah, I didn't necessarily need that one, I don't think.
No. Essentially, what I was getting from that issue is that Sunspot funded AIM to create a device that can catapult a team through the multiverse to a desired location with no way back. And it is essentially like a upgrade to what AIM was already doing.
It was kind of weird how, like, I don't know, I didn't quite really have anything for that issue. I don't care for the whole Sunspot buying AIM and, you know, changing it into a good company, I guess, and trying to make the best out of what they can for that. Like, I don't know, it was just a weird episode to me.
It feels very much like setup. Like the story, the meat that we're going to get from the Avengers book is going to follow this team through the multiverse. At least that's what I'm going to get. Or, it's going to be part that, part Captain America whenever he shows up. But he's old Cap now, so who knows?
Yeah.
I only had a couple of pages of notes for that one, to be honest, and I do agree. It did kind of feel like just a filler issue. Like, sure, the backstory was, I guess, interesting, but like cutting back to where we did leave off, it just seemed kind of a little bit out of place.
Yeah. There's not a lot of meat to it. No meat and potatoes,
Yeah.
I mean, we can kind of go through the team. You have Hyperion, Starbrand, Nightmask, Thor, Abyss, and Ex Nihilo, and the rest of his kind. So very much a B team minus Thor and Hyperion. Yeah, I really don't know much for that one. So we want to jump back to New Avengers so we can just finish that up. It might be a shorter episode for us today.
Sounds good.
Sure.
So this last issue kind of shows like the background of what we've seen so far after this 8-month or 8-month time skip. Shane, is that right?
Yeah, 8 months.
Okay. So it's kind of like what Reed Richards has been doing over the past couple days. So we see him talking to Amadeus Cho. How they, you see Braddock he's got like a cool eye patch now, or I don't know if he had it before. It's the first time really seeing him, Captain Britain.
Mm-hmm. It was the first time for me too.
Yeah, I don't think we saw him before that.
No. We see like the interrogation between Sue Storm and Cho on the second day. It was kind of like your typical stuff, like, oh, I'm gonna find my husband. I'll put him behind bars. Edginess.
Yeah.
I thought the
without really a reason.
Mr. Fantastic's new suit was freaking awesome. I really enjoyed that.
His new suit does look really cool. It's got like a square around the fore, right?
Yeah.
It's really cool. And his helmet interests me because
it's almost like Xavier's helmet, Cerebro-esque.
It reminds me of that, but like what it literally looks like to me, and it's something you guys haven't seen yet because we haven't read any Ultimate Comics. But there's a character, Reed Richards in the Ultimate Comics is known, well, he's evil, essentially. But he wears that helmet. I forget his name. He goes by a different alias. I don't think this is that Reed, because the evil Reed wears it all the time. It just looks like his helmet.
Right.
Actually, I have a kind of a question as we're getting into that.
Yeah.
With Hulk, kind of just in that form, is that just something that eventually like happens where he just stays in and out of forms? I mean, I know from reading previous issues, he was working on the technology that his alter had used as a way that like evil Avengers team used to control him.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that he was like working on that a little bit. Is that like kind of an inference of us saying like, okay, well, this is him like just being in that form all the time because he can control it now with that technology?
Yeah, equate it to Hulk in the like Endgame, like now how Hulk is now in the MCU.
Gotcha.
It's like the same thing. He just keeps the bulkier body.
But retains the intelligence.
Yes, exactly.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
I've never really been a fan of Professor Hulk.
Nah, me either. I like the Rage Hulk monster. I like that whole idea where he's like could go off at any minute, and it's a risk.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of. I agree with you because having the like, Jekyll Hyde element, I like more than him just being like, yeah, I'm just super strong, but I'm calm about it.
Mm-hmm. it's more interesting when the Jekyll Hyde element is injected into the scenario.
Yeah.
And what else we learned from this issue is like what they were trying to get like from the Avengers Tower, why they sent Cho in to begin with, and essentially contingency plans, specifically one for Soul's Hammer, the Dyson sphere that Tyson that Tony was making. Do you remember that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So I guess they're going to do something with that in the upcoming issues because they got the plans for that now. And it almost comes full circle because it ends with Black Panther showing up, like you see the other side of him teleporting in, you know?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And he says, like, Wakanda is lost. That's
I'm
kind
sure
of...
he is left for dead, basically.
Yeah, I think she's going to survive. If she doesn't, that'll be nuts, but... I mean,
Yeah, that would be a little bit
make
rushed,
him
in my
again.
opinion.
She's definitely not the focus of the book. It would almost kind of feel pointless to kill her.
Yeah, and I can agree with that.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, the majority of our like focus is definitely on 24. Like that's a staple comic. Like I feel like we're gonna look back at that issue when we get to Secret Wars and be like, oh shit, you know, Molecule Man's the real shit, and like Doom is nothing to fuck with.
I'm excited to see Doom's progression through the storyline because I like him as a character. I think he's pretty cool.
Yeah,
He seems
fantastic.
just as scheming as Namor, but not as douchey about it, is the best way I can put it.
I don't know. I kind of feel like he's almost douchier.
In his very unique way, yeah.
The difference is, I think Doom is more likable than Namor is.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Like, I want nothing but Doom to succeed, and he's the villain.
Oh god. Sorry, I got distracted because I forgot how to throw a grenade.
You're good, buddy.
These are important lessons that you don't learn right away.
Where are we at going next week? So we just finished New Avengers 25. So next week
I am looking forward to finding out. Sorry, as a side note, looking forward to finding out what the difference, like where the rest of the Fantastic Four team is, because we have Sue going after Reed, but we don't see anybody else, and so I have to wonder if Reed did something.
Right. What happened there that causing Sue to be so against her husband?
Yeah.
You know. But I was saying next week, Avengers 37, New Avengers 26, and Avengers 38. So we might get a little bit more of that crossing the multiverse story going.
Okay. Perfect.
Yeah. So this is definitely a short one after a slight hiatus, but we'll be back next week. So thanks for listening, everybody. Please remember to subscribe, like, comment. Again, I'm Al.
I'm Ian.
Oh, I'm sorry, Shane. That would make you me.
Who is who, damn it? We keep messing.
Who is the who?
Who is the who?
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Yeah.